Hi, and welcome to the ComX Aussie Indie Comic Review. And before we start, please like and subscribe and all that other stuff that you have to do with YouTube so that people like to watch us. Anyway, I'm Danny, and Max,
I'm
introduce
Max.
yourself.
Hello, everyone. I am Max, and I am sitting here on a chair about to give a review. And I gotta say that music in our intro it's so epic.
I
There's a
know.
there's a promise there that something spectacular or is going to happen, and then at the end it's just two middle-aged guys sitting in the chairs.
I'm sorry, I didn't do the long intro. I thought, no, I'll just throw it to Max. You got caught off guard. I'm sorry about that.
No, that's fine. It's all good. That's
All right.
life sometimes. Yeah.
Well, I'm
Okay.
excited this week because we are going to do Neverlanders by two Aussie superstar legends, the Ledger Award winning book by Tom Taylor and John Summer. That's it on there. And
And yeah, if I could just show my copy, which shows that they were recipients of or shortlisted for the award, the Children's Book Council of Australia, and they might have actually won it. I'm not sure, but either way, that's an incredible wreath. That's an incredible feather in their cap.
I can show you mine where I went to Robinson's to buy and I got the last issue because they were just about sold out. Because the place I went to before that, Big W, was sold out a week ago and still waiting for old stock. So
I can
it's
see why.
obviously
It's great. It's a great read.
it is,
Um,
and it's cheap. It's a well priced. Something like that in a comic book shop that size, that thick, would probably cost you around about the $40 mark.
okay.
But you can pick that in Big W down in Melbourne for under $15.
Oh yeah, I got mine at Metro for 20, which I guess shows you that those cons mark up their comic books. I,
Well,
I
well, I went to the con like last week, my local one for Aussie local creator day, and like they said, that's when they make their money. At the cons, that's when they sell their most product. So,
yeah,
eh,
it worked. Yeah, it worked on me. I was drawn for the cover, and I originally bought this for my niece, and I even had the creator sign it to my niece. Her name is Ariadne. To Ariadne, we're Neverlanders, and then I read it back in July.
I'm giving it.
And no, I'm gonna give it to her when she's older. She's
Mhm.
about 3 years old now.
Oh, like it.
Yeah, but I thought this would be a good read for her parents to read to her at bedtime. But might be a bit grown up. What do you
Yes.
think?
Well, I think the fact that both of us have a hard copy that we bought, I think it says something about this book. It is a written by Tom Taylor, who is basically the superstar of Australian comics. He's done works for DC, Marvel. He's done Nightwing. He's done Batman. He's done Injustice. He's done Deceased. Um, and John Summer River had been doing Teenage Ninja Mutant Turtles for years, and also worked for the big two overseas. They've teamed up together and put together not a reimagining of the Peter Pan mythos, but it's kind of like a
A modernized sequel.
modernized version, but
Yeah.
not. Yeah.
Yes, it's by no means a version. It's what takes place after the supposed pages of J.M. Barrie's origination, and well, there are twists at the end, which we won't
Gonna
get to.
say you can't give that away because that is a really clever little one. Even though I thought, I wonder how he must be. He must be. No, yeah, maybe. What's happening here? And then it's good.
Yeah,
Uh,
let's start
it's
from the ground up
satisfying.
first. Yeah, so we're introduced to a clutch of characters at the beginning, the new Lost Boys, so to speak, as in I guess you could say it's London. They're in the metro of modern day London. Yeah, they're busking. Well, they're not busking. They're panhandling. They're going around the underground, and all the adults are
Treat them horribly because they're basically
drunk.
homeless kids. They're homeless kids, and yeah.
They live in a rather plush, rather nice trailer situation in otherwise a derelict landscape. But when we first meet them, they're stuck, lost within this environment, and an incident occurs in which one of the children, one of the lost boys, is pushed. She's jostled onto the train tracks, and all the adults are just either paralyzed with fear. All the suit wearing commuters on their way to work just can't work up the action necessary to perform a rescue. And that's a metaphor, I guess, here, which I took from the inactivity of adulthood versus the overactivity and the over imagination of the children, as we get to know them when they get to Neverland.
Funny you should say that, because I think that arcs back towards the end of the story as well. The story does end similar. You find the inaction of adults to children, but it takes it in a longer arc, as in what happens when that continues through to adulthood. You know, if you don't learn your lesson when you're young, you're going to end up like your parents were. I don't know. I just got that jive about at the end. That's when you said that at the start. I thought, oh yeah, that did happen towards the end.
Although I will have to disagree and say that it might actually be inevitable that you can take all the lessons that you want, but adulthood will turn you from a vibrant child playing with their friends in a dangerous place to an entity in a suit, too afraid to prompt themselves into action to perform a simple rescue. And those early pages, the way they're color graded, it's very desaturated. Modernity is very much dystopia compared to the pages.
And you get an idea why they do that, because when they go to Neverland, it kind of gives you that whole Wizard of Oz, Dorothy opening the door after the tornado. I think that's deliberate.
Of course. I mean, all these artistic choices have their philosophical meaning. A lot of it worked. I must say. I'm looking at this now, and all these characters, these new Lost Boys in the front cover, I like them. I really, the characters were fleshed out very well. No one was given short shrift. Everyone was allotted enough pages to develop their characters and motivations and their nuances. They had a lot of great nuances, which is lacking in a lot of comic books that we read, especially in the independent scene, most likely because of the limited page count. But there was a lot.
Tom Taylor he knows his audience. He's gone for the young adults with this. He knows that this is really a Gen Z book in the way that it's written and who it's attracted to. I do believe, and looking at it, after seeing The Deep, which is the TV show he's done, I can see it becoming a cartoon. Just the characters, the way they're fleshed out. There is just so much material here for more, and the way they have been drawn, it just thinks, wow, is this going to end up on Disney or Nickelodeon, or that's it? Is Nickelodeon still a thing? I don't know. It just has that appeal. But going back to what you were doing a quick review of the story. You just got to where the girl had fallen over onto the tracks,
Yeah.
and that's when she was saved by
a child, not an adult,
Mm.
not a corporate drone standing on the sidelines, too afraid to summon the courage and paralyzed by overthinking, as adults are often wont to do, as I'm often wont to do. But yeah, another child, a genuine lost boy by the name of Paco, and he whisks them away to Neverland, where the bulk of the narrative takes place. And I think in terms of synopsis, that's where we should leave it. In case we stumble on any plot spoiling landmines. But
yeah, there is a lot. You can destroy it, but I can tell you that Tinkerbell swears a lot.
yes, and she's shaved. Like like
she's very punk.
Yeah.
And she swears in comic book language. So that's very important. So there are no curse words in this comic. So I just must send that home. So if anybody's watching, who thinking about buying this for the children, yes, you can. It's just implied. It's just done with all these little emojis, and it's very funny because you don't expect to see Tinkerbell being such a rough and tumble.
There she is, right there. Yeah. It's absolutely great. There's not just kids. I think there's something there for the grown-ups. I read this, and I was it there's a propulsive energy there. It's paced very, very well, and I wasn't given the sort of overwhelming feeling of childishness, like what am I reading? It was
no, and I don't feel it as being preachy either. There are some very funny little sections in it.
It's incredibly funny. Yeah, it pokes fun at cute. Yeah.
Mm. And one of the jokes in the early part sets itself up for right at the end too. All I can say is ovaries. that was very clever. I like that. I like that a lot.
It happened to me once. I mean, I looked up my symptoms online when I was sick, and I think it said ectopic pregnancy. Like that's not funny. That's
no, that is not funny. No, but yeah, if you're a male, it is. But the art on this is absolutely gorgeous. John Summer River. It has that, I don't know, big budget cartoon movie. Like something from DreamWorks or something. It has that quality, and all the landscape is fantastic. You can stare at the art and look at the map of Neverland, as well as when they're approaching it, and it's so colourful. It is very well together, a very well put together book in all aspects, in story, in art, and in length, and the way it's broken up into 6 chapters.
It's chapterized. I loved it. I really did. I hate to make a horse race of things, but that's what awards do. I also loved Dead City Lullabies. It must be very difficult being a judge, because I know, it must have been down to these 2 comic books.
I definitely. Of the 2, because I've seen Batisha, and I think, oh yeah, okay, that was lovely, but that was also a reprint. That was a put together, I think. Actually, I shouldn't say that because I don't really know, but I know Batisha's an old character. But I reckon that you could have had 2 golds quite easy with Aiden's book and Mr. Taylor's and Mr. Summer Rivers. They both could have shared a gold on their comics for these ones. But maybe this one, a little bit of an edge. Even though I loved Dead City Lullabies, I find this to be more complete.
Oh well, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, there's obvious seed planting going along, literal seed planting, because there is a tree at the center of the narrative.
Mm.
But yeah, part of me will be disappointed if they do release a sequel, because I think the ending was just totally perfect.
Do you reckon? I think the ending sets it up for to expand into more silly adventures.
Yeah,
Not,
yeah,
not
it does, but yeah, but part of me just wants them to just live happily ever after in this in a perpetuity of paradise.
mm, 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 mm. What? And we. I don't know if I should say this, but the story, they go to Neverland and there's nobody left in Neverland. All the original Lost Boys are gone.
Yes,
Um,
are gone.
and
Yes,
so
highly
and that's
speculated to be dead, but yeah, they're not there.
not
And
there.
yes, they're the new iteration of the Lost Boys are greeted by an elderly man, a crocodile named Agatha, who is able to talk. I'm not really that familiar.
They are all characters from the
Yeah,
original J. M. Barrie,
Barry.
Peter
Yes.
Pan and Wendy.
All right.
But
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. 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 I wasn't quite sure. Yeah. I didn't know if the alligator or the crocodile had a name or yeah. Yeah.
no, it never had a name in the. I think it was just called the Croc. That was the one that was Hook could always hear it coming because of the tick tocking, because it swallowed his watch. Well, I think he was holding his watch when it bit his hand off. So,
All right. Were you a fan of the original book by J.M. Barrie?
well, my sister was, because my niece is my oldest niece is she turned 50. Oh, she turns 52 in November, and she was called Wendy because Wendy never existed before that book. It's a made up name. And
Oh
that's
wow.
why my sister loved the name, because it did not relate to anything. That's why she liked the name Wendy. And yeah, that's when I went back in. And Peter Pan started off as a play, not as a book. It became a book
All
later.
right. Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was a very and it was. There's a book with Johnny Depp called Neverland, and it actually kind of
Neverland. Yeah. Yeah.
tells the story of the family, the
I
Darling
wasn't
family.
I wasn't
And
a fan of that film. I really like Johnny Depp's performance there. Very subtle, but
yeah.
yeah. The film by Mark Forster was it was very much hitting all the Hollywood beats.
Oh,
If
okay.
if you
I
I
just
mean
thought it was a nice, gentle movie because as the guys, he 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 just had a love of the family, the way the togetherness, and they inspired him to write that, and that's why they did it. Um,
mhm.
and it grew out of that. It was a more innocent age, and he with the use of theatrical effects, he created this whole, the flying Peter
Yeah,
and shadow, and how the shadow was detached. There you go. The shadow makes an appearance in the
yeah. Two Shadows. Yes, yeah.
yes, and yeah, and that's another telling thing. There's a few little surprises towards the end that you find out about people. Um, but all I can say is that it's a thoroughly great read, and I recommend it to anybody. Just
Absolutely. Yeah.
try it and enjoy it.
Yeah, the world building, or not. I guess he didn't build a world, but the world augmenting, and it's very immersive, and I highly recommend it.
Tom Taylor is good at taking ideas, other people's um, properties, and then doing his own thing with them. And he did that with like Injustice and Deceased, like I said. I
And
liked his Iron Man, but
yeah,
this is great, and it's dedicated to his three kids. And I reckon I've seen them. I've met him, and they must be coming up to tweens at the moment. Just the oldest might even be approaching teenagers. So I think this is kind of like a little love letter to them. So
Yeah.
it's deserved its popularity. I truly believe it.
Yeah, and I think I might check out more of Tom Taylor's indie works if he has some. Definitely.
Well, last night we had my youngest son's birthday, and he brought round for his older brother 4 graphic novels of parts year 1 and year 2 of Injustice, just because I gave him the first one to read, his older brother, and he couldn't believe how good it was. And so now they've just gone crazy. So I said, oh, well, that's just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to Tom Taylor. Even though he has a lot of critics, believe it or not, that people think that he writes simple stuff for the fans, or he's a little bit too woke. He just writes for the younger audience. But I thought, no, that's good. We've got to draw people in to this to comics. If you're just writing for comics for 30-year-old men, you're not going to get anywhere at all. You've got to get a younger audience and feed their imaginations.
Yes.
And that's what he's doing with this. You can't do stuff like this with superheroes, I don't think.
I think you can. I mean, I remember that Justice League episode where they all turned into kids. That's one of the that was one of the.
I thought that was actually a show. Isn't that a series where that
was a TV. Yeah, that was a TV show. But yeah, I'm sure if it was there, it would have been a comic somewhere else as well.
Nah, give me Scooby Doo. All right. On that note, that was an easy one tonight. All we can say is read this. It's fantastic.
You can find it anywhere, right? I mean,
yes, it's Penguin, so it has that the added advantage of being distributed to everywhere on the planet because it's a massive publisher, and you can understand why it's been published by them, because it's a book that appeals to everyone. It's I don't know if it's been a New York bestsellers list yet for comics. Probably has been. A lot of his stuff already has been. So, yeah, don't worry about that. Just go to your local QBD or Robertson's or
one-click purchase as a Kindle reader if you read things digitally.
Oh yeah, if you do that, there.
Yeah.
Don't get it for the library. Start your own bookcase.
I'm just going back to physical books, and I must, after 5 to 10 years of reading nothing but digital, and it occurred to me, why did I stop reading physical copies? And now I'm sort of recommencing my my relationship with physical copies.
There is one drawback having physical copies.
Borrow them. All right. I don't mind. If it gives pleasure to someone else, if it contributes to the expansion of that work, I'm okay with that. It's just it takes up a lot of space, and you can't travel with it. That's the issue. Yeah.
As you can see, I'm settled. I don't care.
Yeah, but if you travel, you can't take all of that with you.
Oh no! With this kids, I said, well, if I die, they can do whatever they want with them. I don't care. But this is my little bubble of reality, so I'm happy. All right. On that note, we're going to go, and just remember, please, if you want us to review your book, just put it in the comments. I was at a con last week, and I had a lot of people come up to me because I just put the little card from the front of our show down, and I was pleasantly surprised with 5 different artists or creators giving me their books and say, please, we would love you to review. So we're going to see a lot of content in before Christmas, hopefully, and then we'll have a break. Well, I am, because going on holidays. All right. On that note, goodbye. Thank you very much. See you later, Mac.
Like, share, and subscribe.